and difficult to fathom. Mr. Topper held the opinion that the expression was uncomfortably insinuating, making him in some sly way an accessory before the fact. But, hang it all, what was the meaning of Scollop's look? The cat had been fed. He had seen to that himself, as he had seen to it ever since he had adventurously brought her home from Wilson's the grocer's one evening 4 years ago. 4 years! As long as that in this house, and once it had seemed so new. Now it was an old house, an uninteresting house. Perhaps he was old, too, and equally uninteresting. Mr. Topper felt that he was, and for the first time in his life permitted himself to wonder about such things. His intellectual debauchery was rudely shattered by Scallops. The cat yawned and tentatively thrust her nails into her benefactor's thigh. It was rather a plump thigh. Long years of sedentary work had served to despoil it of its youthful charm. It was a tight thigh, and a fleshy one, yet it still reacted to pain, to such an extent, in fact, that Mr. Topper's sensation of trouble instantly gave one to one of mild reproach as he dropped Scallops softly thudding to the floor. This faint discord in the domestic tranquillity caused Mrs. Cosmo Topper to look up from her needlework. Mr. Topper, glancing across the table, met his wife's eyes. It was just for a moment, then he looked quickly away, but why he did not know. "She yawned," he remarked by way of explanation. "Yawned and scratched? I know it," apologized Mrs. Topper, mistaking his words for a direct accusation. "I've been doing it all evening. It must have been the veal." Topper watched his wife remove her sewing glasses and place them in their case. With an absorbed gaze, he followed her movements as she folded her sewing and wrapped it in a piece of linen, which she then deposited in a basket. At this point, his expression became almost desperate, then hopeless. No, there was going to be no change in the nightly routine. Glasses, case, linen, basket. If she would only reverse the procedure, or for once forget her glasses, that would be something. Meantime, Mrs. Topper, unconscious of tragedy, rose from her chair, came round to where her husband was sitting, and brushed his forehead with her lips. Then, referring once more in a pained voice to the haunting qualities of veal, she left the room. Mr. Topper listened to her firm step upon the stairs. A certain squeaking of boards apprised him of the fact that she had achieved the landing. For a moment he thought idly about veal in relation to his wife. Then he did an unusual thing. Instead of knocking out his pipe and locking in the cat whose vagrant nature had caused him some rather trying experiences in the past, he gently retrieved that animal from the floor and fell to studying an old atlas which he had plucked from an obscure shelf. "It made me sleepless, too," murmured Mrs. Topper an hour later as her husband settled down beside her. And that night Mr. Topper dreamed of eating curried veal in Calcutta. He was surrounded by many maidens, all of whom partook amply of veal, and none of whom complained. It was delicious. He gorged himself. Chapter 2. Scollops looks inscrutable. Not until the following afternoon, which was Saturday, and therefore free, was Mr. Topper able to localize his trouble. The discovery came to him as a shock which gathered intensity as the days passed. It marked an epoch in his life. Even Mrs. Topper, who steadfastly refused to recognize changes taking place around her, detected something new and therefore annoying in her husband. But she reassured herself by believing that all stomachs have their off-seasons, and became almost pallidly cheerful when she considered the fact that her stomach's off-season was always on. It prevailed the year around. To Mrs. Topper, it was an endless source of comfort to be able to trace all mystifying cases of conduct, even her own, to such a tangible and well-established institution as a stomach. It was Scollops again, Scollops draped on her master's knee, with a Saturday afternoon mist swimming on her eyes. Scollops, the